This is part 2 of our third annual Fall Float Camp series, where today we're going to be heading down the Pine River, twisting through one of our favorite places in the whole world, the Manistee National Forest. We were able to use Will's Cottage as our jumping off point for our adventures this weekend, and here we relaxed around the fire for the night after 2 glorious days paddling down the Pere Marquette River. But today we are all packed up, heading for the Pine River, which was just nearby. Our put-in for today was the amazingly beautiful Dobson Bridge River Access right here in the Manistee National Forest, where we were planning on traveling a number of miles downstream today, having no time constraints. We were going to be out here all day, where we would pass Peterson Bridge and get out at the next takeout, which was Lowbridge River Access. Here's a closer look at the map that was provided at the access point that contains our entire proposed route. Here we go, ready to put in at the Pine River this morning. We are here at Dobson Bridge Access, and we are going to float all the way down to Lowbridge Access just before the Pine empties into the tippy backwaters there. Another one of our favorite spots, but we're going to get out at Lowbridge today according to the map. Dobson to Peterson is about 2 hours, Peterson to Lowbridge about 3, so estimated around 5 hours with 6.2 plus 8 miles of paddling. So it's 14.2 miles exactly for us to travel downstream, and we know we have absolutely no time constraints. We have all day to be out here to do it, so we have plenty of time to take stops, enjoy the nature around us, and really have a great time out here on the river. Paddlers on the Pine will experience some of the fastest flows of anywhere around, and it's for this reason we know we have to slow things down today, take plenty of breaks, and really take the time to enjoy the wonderful forest and the nature that's going to be surrounding us the entire day.
Hanging out under Dobson Bridge. Getting ready to start down the pond.
As soon as these guys were back from dropping a car off at our takeout spot, we were excitedly heading downstream. For Justin, Tony, and myself, this was our first time adventuring on the Pine. Will had done this a number of times. I think he had been here before with his family, but he had always raved about it and told us how great this river was. We were just so excited to see what we had in store for us today. It did not take us long before we realized this was going to be a good day and a fun river, as we kind of looked around and noticed every one of us was wearing a smile from ear to ear, just enjoying these quick paces and tight turns along the river. I know for myself, I just had the greatest time out here all day hanging out with some good company, and at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Here we go, passing under one of the taller bridges that we saw on this day. This particular bridge does not have any access points down to the river from the road for other fishermen or boaters. Unlike the Peterson Bridge, which we will be passing by in a little while, which we will show you. That bridge has a much more established a campground and a boat access, actually. While we generally prefer to be in the nature, some of these bridges can be fun to look at, and if not, they generally serve as great landmarks to tell you how far you've traveled downstream on the river, or at least a good reference to go back and check after your trip. The Pine is the fastest flowing river in terms of average flow from start to finish in the state of Michigan, and we were just loving these sections of riffles that really require a moderate skill set of paddling and require you to kind of dodge the protruding rocks that stick out at you, but all of it was a lot of fun. We soon spot a sandy little pull-off on the banks of the river, and we decided, why not? Let's just pull over and take a break for a minute. Pulled over here along the Pine River at the parking area. 2-hour limit apparently. It's a very busy river in the summer, I guess, but right now we're the only ones out here, really, that we've seen. I'm sure that's not entirely true, but look at this beautiful spot right across from this giant dune over here.
I'm gonna hook it up pretty soon after this.
After our little break heading on downstream, it did not take long until Justin started chiming in saying he was a little bit worried about the amount of water that started pooling up by his feet already since our last break. And at this time we were thinking there was probably something more serious going on, and we already decided we needed to kind of find a place to pull over and assess the situation. Here's a sandy little beach off to the side with a beautiful view. This is going to do just the trick for us to pull over and kind of check out what's going on with Justin's boat. Our final assessment came down to this. There was a hole located on a large scratch on the bottom of the boat that we had actually fixed before after a previous journey. Our repair at this point was failing, and these guys had to come up with something on the spot to get Justin back to floating. So what they did was actually melt down the cap to a bottle and was able to fill that hole up, and we were able to keep Justin's feet and his stuff dry for the rest of the day, and he never did sink, so that was a great thing. It was a pretty genius idea if you were to ask me. It helps to be able to think on your feet and to come up with these quick fixes to the problems you might have out here on these types of journeys. It's all part of the fun. As we are meandering through the forest here, we're also enjoying some of this river's other prominent features, which are the high sandy banks along the sides of the river. These dunes are really tall and impressive. They're really beautiful to look at as you float by. It's fun to think that they're created by the fast-flowing currents that we're also enjoying so much on this day as we're out here floating down the Pine. The river keeps its pace for its entirety downstream, and we end up having to help each other out quite a bit, calling out potential obstacles or rocks that we're going to have to paddle around, or that could potentially bump or scrape the bottom of our boat as we float over them. We almost definitely get a little wet going through some of these splash zones here.
Oh man, I did, yeah, my ass got it.
Pretty soon we find ourselves pulled over once again. We're flipping our boats over and draining some of the water that we've collected out and drying off our seats a little bit from the cold water so that we can have a little bit more of a comfortable ride as we continue on. As we round this next bend, we spot a sign over in the trees that reads Peterson Bridge Campground, 100 feet on left, Peterson Bridge River Access, 400 feet on the right. Here's a quick look at the access from the campsite as we float by, and pretty soon we will show you the more public access closer to the bridge here at Peterson Bridge. As you'll see, there's a group heading down to the river at the access site that warns us of a bit of possible inclement weather heading our way, which was kind of a detail we had naively overlooked this morning, having such great luck with the weather already this weekend.
Great out here.
Crazy, this is awesome. Oh, they're talking rain in the forecast. That's probably not a great. We haven't looked. We float under and beyond the Peterson Bridge and continue downstream. Shortly after passing under that landmark there was some somewhat considerable rapids. The biggest set of rapids we had seen all day. Tony happened to capture it here on his GoPro. I assure you it was a lot larger and more fun in person than it looks on camera, but here it goes.
Yeah, that's true. The left actually looks like that.
You don't want to get down there? Are you going for it, man? I'm going for it.
Oh, great. I got wet.
And maybe that doesn't look like much on screen to the YouTube thrill seekers, but I can assure anyone, to the average leisure kayaker here in Michigan in their 30s and beyond, that was plenty fun of a rapids for any of us. Any rapids that has waves that can splash over the side of your boat and get you all wet with this freezing cold water is plenty of excitement for us. We did end up having to pull over again and kind of tip our boats over, get some water out from our feet and off of our seats in order for us to continue comfortably. But with that being said, it was so fun to travel down that, created a memory and a highlight of the trip. Another awesome feature of the Pine. So much fun. Soon we spot another swift current and decide to pull over and check it out before traveling through it.
Shots of this wood. Awesome. I tried it.
This little pine forest grove was a perfect opportunity for us to stop and have a snack break, let some water out of our kayaks, of course, let everything dry off, and stretch our legs for a minute.
We're on the first ones to come on here. Creepy, huh?
This is actually
After taking in one last look at the next challenge that's in front of us, it's time to hop back in the boats, where we are going to be immediately put into a fast riffle on the river, which can make it a challenge whenever you're getting in and out of your kayak, but we'll give it a shot. Here we go.
I did.
Not a moment passes us by that's not filled with some kind of beauty as we just meander our way through this brilliant forest. We are just so lucky to be able to come out here and have this type of experience and to be able to do this. We all feel so connected to nature when we have these types of adventures. We really would encourage anyone who's able to come out and enjoy some state or national forest to do so, to get outside and come see what it's all about. We push on in our single file line, never really able to take our eyes really off of the river in front of you, and not really being able to fully relax or really be able to take your hands off the paddle, as you constantly kind of got to be watching where you're going here on this river due to the fast moving flows. At this point, Tony and I can hear a little bit of chatter up there at the front of the line from Will and Justin. And as we come around the corner here, we begin to understand what all the commotion is about as this big, brilliant, beautiful sand dune comes into frame. As we approach the massive hill, we begin to see all the sets of footprints leading from the bottom to the top. And of course, our next thought is, are we gonna be climbing this thing? It's pretty enticing as you're going by here for the first time. So after a quick consensus, we decided that, yeah, we'd go up and check out what the view is and see what it's all about. Little forewarning, this is really quite a steep dune. It was quite the undertaking.
Yep. Struggle is real.
You can probably already tell by the heavy breathing, but he was not kidding. This dune is no joke. We all had to climb kind of at our own paces. And those of us with more energy than others were able to kind of lollygag and have more fun at the top.
I was gonna do it.
And once we were all able to reach the top, of course, in came the rain. And we just decided to sit down and catch our breath and take some shelter underneath the trees up here and really just enjoy the view for a bit. What an amazing place to be caught in a rainstorm. But the rain soon did pass, and we were able to capture a couple epic shots of our spot up here before heading down the dune back to the boats and finishing our day out here on the Pine. But this was definitely a highlight, one of the better stops of the trip. It was a fun activity to do, kind of impromptu, when seeing this giant come around the corner there. When it came time to head down the dune, we did all take a bit different approach to the descent as well, some of us moving a bit faster than others. Back at the bottom of the dune, We're ready to be in the comfort of our kayaks again and to give our tired legs a break. It's the final stretch of the river here. It's not going to be long for us until we reach Lowbridge Access. On this lower section, the banks of the river weren't so high as before, and the trees were not encroaching so close to the sides of the river as we opened up a bit more into a floodplain here, kind of coming into the tippy backwaters. Great area for bird watching. Here we can see a bold merganser sitting on a log as we floated by that didn't fly away. And here is an island with a great blue heron sitting on it. Great bird watching section through this lower area. Pretty soon we spot another brown sign tucked in the brush here that lets us know Lowbridge River Access is just 100 yards further upstream on the left, and we know our time here has come to an end. Time for us to pull over and get our gear out of the water. We reluctantly did just that, pulled our boats up onto shore, let Justin and Will go grab the vehicles from the starting point and then come back and pick us up while we kind of organized all the gear and got everything ready to bring home nice and easy. And this marked the end of our amazing weekend here on two rivers, the Pere Marquette and the Pine. We were just thrilled with the Pine River. I know we'll be back on this one. It was a highlight. And quick side note before we end, this is another watercraft permit system river in which you are required to have a permit on your boat between Labor Day and Memorial Day. So in the summer, if you come out here, make sure you're all legal to go and you'll be ready to have a good time. This river is absolutely just epic and beautiful, and it's so worth coming out to see. I hope everyone can enjoy it the same as we did. It wasn't long before our rides had returned. We easily loaded up both cars with all our stuff, and we were able to fit everything in and head home before too long, and we had to say goodbye to another successful 2023 kayaking season. Thank you all for watching and liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. Look forward to making another video. See you next time.